The outpouring of truth in the physical will drown you, but it is this path that will lead to enlightenment. This is the path that will instruct you, guide you. But this road must be traveled, regardless of peril or obstacle that might stand in the way, regardless of the broken pieces of glass that lie in your way. You've taken way too many detours, and we've lost our way. Genesis 32:30, Jacob went up to Peniel and came face to face with God, and his life was preserved. The third eye or pineal gland, also called the pineal gland or the epiphysis cerebri, or the epiphysis, a small endocrine gland. It produces melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulation of wake sleep patterns and photoperiodic seasonal functions. It is a pea-sized gland shaped like a pine cone, located in the vertebrae brain near the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. The pituitary gland. Now, the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. What if I told you that I'm talking about the two witnesses in Revelation, huh? Oh yeah, you want to know why? Because let's just look at the temple of God. We'll take the word temple. You take the M, you invert it. So now you have T-E-W, two. That's how you would pronounce it. I think you would. Okay, then we have P-L-E, P-L-W-E, okay? It's just a shortened version of pole. That's it. It's the same thing. The two poles, exactly. The pituitary and the pineal gland. Right? Because narrows the way and straight is the gate. Narrows the way, straight is the gate. Now the key is, how do you get into that room? How do you get into the holies of holies? Between the dura mater and the pita mater. That's separated by arachnoid, by a web, a veil. And you can't bring the outside in. There's no bringing the outside in. It doesn't work that way. You can't bring it in. So how do you get in? Well, I'm going to help you. Welcome to Mysticism 101 with yours truly. Life today is about self-preservation. That's it. That's what life is about. That's the design of this world system's construct. You know, and its greatest asset is creating an illusory existence where man has been separated from himself. That's not good. That's bad. You know, who benefits the most? We're not benefiting. Are you benefiting? If you want someone to see, give them understanding and look everywhere. You know, but they're not giving us understanding, so people aren't looking anywhere. You know what I mean? You know, most people just take what they're told. They don't look further. They don't question anything. You know? Just give them some football. How's that working out for them? Give them some March Madness. Oh, sorry, no more. You know, we've been domesticated. You know, like dogs and cats. Not for spiritual growth, though. You know what I mean? We're empowered, but like an indentured servitude. You know, to a system that forces us into a cage. Into a cage. We put birds in cages to protect them. So that's what we say. To justify, you know, human sadistic side. But is it natural? Is it something that's inside of us? Or is it something is there a cause? Is there an effect? What's the root cause? Is there a root cause? You know what I mean? I mean, we're in a cage. We are, you know, but not a cage with bars of iron, but bars of closed mind. But at the end of the day, what's the difference? We sacrifice our passion to the animalistic nature, not for ascension where we grow, but to a system where the individual is stripped away of their uniqueness and identity. We sell our soul every day. We conform, we support, we protect. We have accepted the lesser of two evils mindset. Sadly, most don't even want to hear that. Why don't we want to hear it? It's the truth, isn't it? Cognitive dissonance? Yes. Well, to some degree, we've all been guilty of cognitive dissonance. You know, we refuse to accept what is self-evidence, what is provable, what is right in front of you. Animal nature is merely our passion, desires of the carnal mind in the lower arena of the soul, where the ego, your son, rules. That's why the son is crucified in his father's house and defeated by Set when he enters his mother's house. By the way, Set in Latin means seven, which represents truth, balance, and justice. The son entering this house is humbled, and all forms of vanity and illusion are stripped away. Then the winter comes and it all turns to gray. To connect the dots or put together a jigsaw puzzle, you have to make sure you have all the pieces. Oh, what good is it? Language, fear, and other mechanisms, as examples, can and will alter the neuroplasticity of the brain, eventually creating a new mold. The changing of the neuroplasticity in the brain can be exploited for monetary gain, mind control, or worse. While neuroplasticity is merely a theory, exploitation of consciousness is a real threat. What is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is the theory that when we learn something new, we form new pathways in the brain, and each lesson has the potential to connect new neurons in the brain and change the brain's default mode of operation. Where's the location of the default mode of operation? According to Stedman's medical dictionary, this location is between the Piedmont and Duramato or tender mother, which is separated by arachnoid web structure or veil. Inside is the Holy of Holies. The outside is not permitted entry unless we surrender our conscious mind. The tithing Christ mentions is the 10% of the brain we call consciousness. Do you see the red herring? I see a Trojan horse. There is a war on consciousness. There are mechanisms set up to help facilitate and alternate consciousness to totally without force but compliance, all hidden in plain sight. There are many vices in plain sight that are being used to take hold of consciousness forever. Knowledge in the wrong hands can have devastating consequences, like people wearing masks, causing restriction of airflow. Just an example. Unfortunately, our minds have been shaped, altered. Our minds have been taken hostage. And it starts from cradle, and it ends with the grave, the tomb. And seldom is that hold ever relinquished. Most people unwittingly just comply and accept. Rare are those that awake and actually break free. Neuroplasticity is presented as a breakthrough in understanding the human mind. I see a Trojan horse. What do you see? Raising your vibration can only happen by clearing the mind and giving the mind rest.